Welcome to another edition of the Hungam Yoga Global Online Forum. Once again, my name is Abhinav and I'm joining you from Sydney, Australia, and I'm really keen to bring to you the last week in our 3-week series on Vyangam Yoga, or spirituality, and meaningful relationships. Over the last 2 weeks, we've dove into a range of topics, thinking about what is a meaningful relationship, why are they important, how do we handle them, what should we do when people are judging us, what should we do when we need to give someone feedback, and all of these facets are so important to every relationship that we have in life. We've been really lucky over the last 2 weeks to have Subhash Chandra from Singapore, who's been helping us dive into these topics. And as we go through this last part, I really encourage all of you wonderful listeners to think through what your key takeaway is and what you can take back and apply to your life. I have obviously got thoughts on what I want to apply to my life, but everyone's relationships in their life and the state of their relationships can differ. So as a Vihangville community, we really hope that you've been able to think through some things and see how they apply to your life. Whether it's what to do when you want to give someone feedback, which is usually one of the most difficult things to do. What to do when you need to form a relationship, but you just don't see any commonality between you and the person in front of you. Subhashi and we've been really diving into some of these things over the last 2 weeks. So if you haven't had the chance to actually catch some of those conversations, definitely check out our YouTube channel. And feel free to leave any questions you have on slido.com/VYGOF, where we'll pick up any questions you have in subsequent weeks and try to answer them. So everyone, without, keeping you too far from that conversation and taking up too much time, I'll hand over now to that conversation, the last part in our 3-part series on spirituality and meaningful relationships. The magic of yoga, we've called it. Because as we've discovered over the last few weeks, just practicing yoga can improve so many facets of your life. So with that, I'll hand over to the last part of our 3-part series. I hope you enjoy. Gee, yes. No, I really love that reflection you just gave us on your own experiences. It reminds me of on a much, it's similar kind of thing, which I can just shortly reflect on, which is, when I first joined the company I work at as an intern, I remember, I've personally, I've never been good at making, small talk with people who are so much more experienced than me. So, standing in a circle and, talking about all different things and forming a network like that. I never had anything to talk about because I was so new to that environment, very similar to you. So it's really interesting, like very similar to you. What I decided was I'll let my work speak for itself, and then, hopefully people will, actually come to know of me. And then when they come to know of me, hopefully they'll see that I work on who I am more than I work on my professional life. And they'll appreciate hopefully the way that we were able to communicate with each other. So I really do empathize with everything you just expressed. On a much smaller scale, obviously, you have much more deeper experience there of a very important phase of life. But yeah, if you're out there listening, I think what Subhash just said is very, very important. And the message is sort of it that he just shared with us as well, that we have these qualities within us. It's just that you have to wait for that moment when you're able to express those things, and you have to prepare yourself for that moment. It definitely feels so, so important. So Subhashi, we've kind of been touching on this throughout our conversation about inner strength, and how inner strength kind of positions you very well to not only understand who you should form a relationship with, understand when you should back away, giving you the ability to not be hurt when someone is, making, a relationship particularly difficult. It gives you, an awareness, the consciousness that you need. So, how does Vihangam Yoga help a person, develop that inner strength? What is it about this practice that allows for that to happen?
Yeah, so Vihangam Yoga, I think many people have been considering this as a new terminology. But I think yesterday only when I was describing in one of the discussion, what is Vihangam Yoga, I mentioned this, that this is not something which is new. Many people, since they have never heard this word, many people have not, and they consider that, oh, what is this? But I think to know something, we need to experiment ourselves first. Unless and until we experiment, we would not come to know what exactly it is. So I think whoever is listening and they are not yet associated with Vihangam family, I would definitely recommend everyone to at least try and test it. What exactly it is? What is the reality? And it's not about the reality of Vihangam Yoga, it's reality about ourselves. Vihangam Yoga is to identify ourselves, not to identify anyone else. It's about the self, to know who I am and why do I exist, not just theoretically, not just theoretically. We are not here just to know theoretically on the basis of mind or on the basis of intellect only. We are much more beyond that. So what I think is, when we are in the childhood stage, then we grow up from there, we become adult, from there we become further an older person, then we are further much more older person. And as and when the life goes, we gain the experience at all different stages, every moment here and there. The whole life is about the experience, only and only experience. But the point is, what is the basis of experience? Who experienced it? Who experienced it? Is it my body which experienced whatever I experienced, or it's the mind which experienced, or it is the intellect or my ego which was more involved in all those experiences, or it was me which got all those experiences? There's a difference. Many people say, oh, whatever experience I'm getting, it's me only. Yes, it is you, but what is the basis of that experience? On which basis you experienced? That is more important. And as Sant Sri Namdevji Maharaj always mentions, always, that becoming more and more conscious is actually the real objective for everyone. The limit for being consciousness is actually limitless. So when we talk about Vihangam Yoga, it gives you to fly. It gives you the way to fly. Fly doesn't mean that your body will fly. I'm not talking about that fly. The fly, being fly at a state of fly, means you'll be free from all the bondage and you will be on your own. And that's the real strength. When we come to our own state, our own conscious state, that's the reality for all of us. It's very sad, it's very unfortunate that many a times, many of the people, they know this theoretically only. They have not converted these things into the practical way, into the way the life has to be. And what I say is, the day a person comes to that state with a basis of his own, I think he would not be worried for anything. He would not be bothered for anything. This, that, here, there, this relationship, that relationship. It's just like you will become like a magnet. And what it does, the magnet attracts all the irons around it. But that doesn't mean that it will attract the wood also. No, it will not. It will attract only the irons, because the characteristic of the magnet will attract only the irons, not the wood. What I mean to say by saying this is, once you reach to your own state, that doesn't mean that whole world will get attracted to you. It will not be possible at all. It has never happened. It will not happen ever, I think, for anyone. It's just that more and more people will get attracted to you, to associate with you, to probably know you better, and they will feel happy being with you as well. And that's what the meaning of relationship is. Relationship has not to be maintained on each and every daily basis. Rather, I say you put yourself in a situation on a basis that the relationship automatically gets created and maintained on its own as well, while you maintain just yourself. That's what I would say.
Yeah, a very strong message. And as a last question for you, Subhashi, forming these kinds of connections um, can often be difficult for people who have struggled with relationships where they have been taken advantage of, or they've been unfortunately gone through things like abuse or different kinds of very difficult scenario, experiences in life where they find it very difficult to trust anyone and to find enjoyment in anyone's company. So for those people and for that segment of society who have struggled with those experiences, what does the Vihanga Myog have to say in terms of how they can, what they should do? Should they allow other people into their life even though they're very scared? Should they, seek spiritual guidance? What is the path forward for a person who has lost faith in humanity?
I think there are many such kind of people in this world, and I think everywhere, not just in one part of the world, but I think every nooks and corner people are there of this kind. And I believe, and not just right now, I think historically also, and probably in the future also, there would be some kind of such people who are humiliated or they have been cruelly treated. I think what my message for them would be, definitely they need to strengthen themselves, but it may be possible that they don't have real information, real guidance, what exactly and how exactly they have to go and they have to move. And as you rightly mentioned, Vihangam Yoga, which was established in 1924 by Sadhguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, was one of that objective. It's one of that objective that everyone in this world can be strengthened at their own basis. Who reaches to what extent, that is different thing, but at least human life is very important. And everyone has to be different, but have to be as strong as possible. That's how we are defined as human. So if there are people who have been less privileged in one way or another, mentally, physically, or any way, who have been considered as low-grade people in the society on any basis, or they themselves have considered themselves on that basis. In either case, I think my message, my suggestion would be, my recommendation would be to strengthen themselves. And there is nothing in this world that someone cannot strengthen himself or herself. Definitely it can be. And that's why one of the objective of Vihangam Yoga, as I mentioned, is to reach out to each and everyone in this world so that they can know their reality. It doesn't matter which phase of life they are at. It doesn't matter which type of job they are doing or what age status they have or what exactly they are up to. Doesn't matter at all. This is for everyone. Everyone means everyone applicable, irrespective of which country you are from, which race, religion, this and that, and everything doesn't matter at all, because we are talking about, Vihangam Yoga talks about you. You does not have any other category. You as a soul means it is you, and that's it. I think there have been some examples in history, past as well as even now, those people who have been humiliated here and there because of one or another reason. They are, I think, much more stronger people than anyone else in this world, because they are having that capability to absorb all those things. Of course, those who are taking some different steps, like one example is ending life, they are different, fine, understand. But those who are still there, I really salute to them that they still, whatever situation they have, they are there. They stand on its own. It's different thing that whichever way they are, but salute to them that they are still fighting at their own basis. It's just that people like us probably have to take a specific, more aggressive step probably to reach out to those people, to help them, to make them understand, to put the real flavor of the life to them so that they can stand out as a strong man in the society. And I think Vihangam Yoga has been doing a lot, many things in that respect. So my request to everyone is to please let us know, because Vihangam Yoga hits to the root. It strengthens the root itself. And everyone is there. Everyone is very much fine. It's just that some of the correction has to be done to the root. As a very simple example, suppose we have seed, seed of any plant. We have suppose 100 seeds and we plant them, just throw them in a field, right? The seeds will grow on its own, right? The seed will grow on its own. But suppose out of those 100 seeds, we pick up 5 only, and those 5 seeds we are nurturing. Nurturing means we are giving proper water to it, we are giving a shade, and all those types of care we are trying to do for those 5 seeds. 95 we left on their own. That doesn't mean that all of those 95 will die. No, it will not. Some of them will still pop out on their own because the nature gives them the opportunity to grow on their own. What I mean to say from here is all those seeds were same, all of them. But how we are nurturing them, whether we are giving a specific effort to nurture some of them, or we are leaving it on their own, is two different things. But the characteristic of growing up is there already in that seed. Probably we need to focus more to let them opportunity to grow up with even a small help of nurturing them in one way or another. So everything is inside. Everyone has something inside. It just need to be specific guidance. And I think the objective of Vihangam Yoga, objective of Sadhguru Siddhafal Devji Maharaj is to provide that opportunity under the guidance of his own specific way, in such a way that everyone can grow on their own, to their own, being at a right basis and achieve the real objective of the life. Abhinavji.
Yes, thank you for that very insightful answer, Subhashi. And, for those of you out there, like Subhashi said, who are in a difficult position in life, who are trying to figure out your next step, I think one of the biggest things that Subhashi has expressed is that, and that I'm taking away from his explanation just now, is you're not defined by what's happened to you on the outside. Those things are painful, they're difficult. And, when I think about some of the things that some of you have gone through, it brings me a lot of pain. But the fact that you're still here, the fact that, you're still present, like Subhashi said, we salute you for being that kind of person, no matter what state you're in, because I'm certain that if those things happen to me, who knows if I would be able to stand straight. But many of you are able to do that. No matter if you're standing straight with tears in your eyes, you're still standing straight. So we have the deepest respect for everyone who is of that nature. So Subhashi, at this stage, I want to thank you for joining us this week. We covered a range of topics which I would love to summarize now, but before I go ahead and do that, I just on behalf of everyone, I wanted to express a deep thanks to you for taking the time to explain these different concepts to us, and even sharing some of your personal experiences, as well as the dohas of the beautiful Swadved. So thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you, Abhinavji. Thank you very much. It was very nice talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, folks, that's the end of another, set of sessions on the Vihangama Global Online Forum. Over these few sessions, we talked about how to form meaningful relationships, and there's so many different environments and contexts within which we try to do this. We discussed a number of them today. Whether it's in the context of family, the context of friendship, the context of you being a person who doesn't want to form these relationships because you don't trust anyone and you've been through painful experiences. Meaningful relationships and forming connections with people outside of you. One of the most interesting things I think we've learned today is that a lot of it depends, and the success you have and the I guess the experience you have of that process of trying to reach out to people, trying to form these connections, a lot of it is actually dictated by the person you are on the inside and the human being you are on the inside. And it's amazing when you think about it that things on the outside and your success, or the extent to which you're able to do this on the outside is so deeply related to who you are on the inside. And Vihangam Yoga, as Subhash expressed, it is the science, it is the complete, uh, you know, downloading, complete description, complete explanation of everything that can happen on the inside. So, you know, Vihangam Yoga is obviously not a new concept or a new philosophy. It is the timeless wisdom which our saints and seers have left with us with humanity, and it's the science that teaches us how to be human. It teaches us how to be a person who knows what they're doing, who, even if they've had painful relationships, they're able to take their learnings from those relationships and teach other people about how not to enter those relationships. Or if they are in healthy relationships and they become difficult, then they know how to move past that and to evolve that relationship to the next level. So, life is absolutely a collection of relationships. We're surrounded by people all the time, and as Subhashi said, one of the biggest things that we can use to judge the healthiness of a relationship is how happy it makes us. And the happier our relationships are, often the happier we are as a person. And, what else do we really seek in life other than happiness? So, with that, everyone, I want to thank you for joining us over the last, few sessions on this topic. And I hope that all of the things we discussed today, or even some of the things that we discussed today, give you something to think about. And as always, we're always open to any questions you have. And of course, if you are willing to, if you are excited by the idea of learning how to practice Vihangam Yoga meditation, then definitely do feel free to reach out to us. So with that, I want to end this session and say Jai Gurudev, and we'll see you in the next session. Take care.